Today we will be discussing the latest police-related shooting that has stricken the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Followed by new CSU admission charges for incoming freshmen.
And finally, we're bringing you the latest CSUF and local news. All this and more on today's episode of The Report.
Welcome to The Report, Cal State Fullerton's premier source for news, views, and information. I'm Gabriella Martinez.
I'm Ryan Matthey.
I'm Jefferson Denham.
And I'm Bree Eastlick. Before we get started with our first hot topic, we'd like to invite you to be a part of the discussion. Click on the link in the description of any of our Report episodes to fill out a secure Google form with your opinion on any controversial issue that we've talked about now or in the past, as many of these issues are reoccurring and evolving. We also have a Twitter account. Follow @The Report CSUF to check out our polls, questions, and news updates.
Texans are outraged over another police-related death in the Lone Star State. The community in Dallas-Fort Worth area is mourning over the loss of resident Tatyana Jefferson. The police department has released footage of the body cam of the officer who opened fire at Jefferson's home. The footage shows the officer Aaron Dean make his way to the back of the Jefferson residence, where he spotted a window, shined his flashlight, and proceeded to fire his gun. In the video, the officer never stated or identified himself as a police officer. Dean was arrested and posted bail and has since been charged with murder. Tatyana was described as being, quote, very close to her family, end quote, and was playing video games with her nephew before the officer opened fire.
Well, you know, I don't know, we've all seen, and I'm sure our viewers have seen as well, the heavily edited video that the police have released, and you see the officer walking around the side of the building. He comes to the bedroom. He's shining a flashlight, so there's glare in his face. He says, hands up, hands up. 2 seconds later, boom, boom, boom. Yay, he was fired or quit or whatever he did and charged with murder. Hooray for that. But I think most people, and maybe you have them, I think most of our viewers have them, friends who work in law enforcement. So this is not a diss on law enforcement. It is, however, and evidence is showing that there is a way law enforcement across the country is dealing with people of color, and it's not the same.
The thing here, the question is, where is the unedited video? Where is it at? And when they actually questioned them, the police department mentioned that they were not going to release any footage. Why? Why is that? Why are you hiding that information? It's very heavily edited, as we have seen. So what's behind that? Again, another thing that I want to point out, which I don't know, but it was 2:25 a.m. in the morning. You're with your nephew playing video games and your front door is open and your neighbor is questioning why your front door is open. What was happening? So there are a lot of missing pieces to this puzzle. And I think that the most question what's at stake at this moment is, where's that video and why are they hiding that video?
Well, I'll tell you what we do know. Like you said, it was super early in the morning. It was just a concerned neighbor trying to be, compassionate for their neighbor. However, this neighbor called a non-emergency hotline. So if you're thinking about this, yes, intruder, totally understand the severity of everything, but why are you bringing a gun if it's a non-emergency hotline, There's obviously, like you speaking on your point, Jefferson, a kind of inequality in terms of how white officers are treating black people or black situations or situations that involve black people. And I will say this is the second time that this has happened within 2019 and 2018 together, where we just had in October, we had Botham Jean was his whole entire cycle was sentenced with the police officer who shot up in 2018, just now sentenced to 10 years in prison. But even with that, like we were kind of talking about earlier, when the police officer was sentenced to 10 years in prison, you have the, the Jean brother came over and hugged the officer, kind of like it's a compassionate thing. The judge came down, hugged the officer who was just sentenced to 10 years in prison. And so even if, yes, there might be a little bit of justice there for this person's sentence, why are you all consoling this person? This person killed an innocent black person. I don't understand it.
And it's 10 years.
10
enough
years!
for taking
10
someone's
years.
life, and you shot them in their own home, right?
And what they're saying is that person's life was only worth 10 years.
Yeah. I think that we need to also go back and realize that did you guys know that when the spokesperson for this officer was asked about whether there was a gun or not, he didn't comment on it? So what does that mean? We don't know for sure what is going to be there.
There's a lot of missing pieces, and this is probably something we will be talking about in the future when these all come out. ICE agents went to a school in Nashville, Tennessee with a diverse student body looking to get a hold of records of students whose members of undocumented families. School officials refused to comply with the request of the agents, and one representative said, quote, "We are outraged and deeply troubled by the audacity of ICE to go into an elementary school and get students' records," end quote. Representatives say there are certain protocols in place to prevent the release of personal records to anyone requesting the documents, whether they're government officials or not. Immigrant officials and advocates in Nashville are grateful these protocols were followed.
Do you remember how stressful it was applying to college in your senior year of high school? Well, the CSU system is proposing to change their admission requirements. Currently, incoming freshmen need 15 years of college preparatory classes. The Daily Titan reports that the proposal would require high school students to add an additional year of quantitative reasoning classes. The CSU website explains that students would have the option of taking either a math, science, or an elective course that contains a quantitative reasoning foundation. Examples of these courses include coding, statistics, and personal finance. If approved, this proposal would go into effect for the first time entering freshman class of 2026. The CSU system has found its success for the Long Beach Unified School District, who put this requirement in effect 6 years ago. They found that the underrepresented minority students benefit from an additional quantitative course in preparation for college. I think that this is a great thing. Now, these requirements are 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 to 3 years of foreign language, 1 year of art, and 2 to 3 years of history. Now, by the time they get to their senior year, a lot of these students that I went to high school with had an off period, or even 2. So filling up one of those, I see no harm in this whatsoever. And a lot of kids, they want something that'll help them for their future, and I think that is exactly what this is. And the Long Beach School District has already been doing it for 6 years, so it's obviously been successful. So I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with this.
I think we need that, actually. Personal finance, what is one of the biggest problems for college students coming in? They have problems with money. They do. They don't know what to do with their lives when they come in, how to budget, finance. This is beautiful. I think it's a perfect platform for students to have 1 full year to learn about money, to learn about how to deal with their money, and coming into college, knowing how to manage their money would be just ideal. I think it's great.
I think the argument of this is these classes are not generally geared towards everybody's profession or what they at least want to do in the future. And so what do you guys say to people who, yeah, we're going to make you take this course even though you don't really think it applies to you and you're not really going to benefit from it?
You know, Ryan, that's a fantastic question. And here's, I think, why. Not everybody's going to be a math major. Not everyone's going to go to college. So if this class is taught in a way that is practical, getting to your point, if it's something that you can show, look, this can be applied to your life. I was reading the Sacramento Bee this morning, and it said you can take a computer science class, a personal finance class, as you mentioned, economics or math classes. How beneficial would it be, let's say, for anyone to be able to say, oh, that interest rate is a scam, and that's going to hurt me. Right? Now, there is pushback saying that this could be something detrimental for students of color. I think as long as you teach it with a practical point of view, you can say all these ethereal points, but if you don't tie them to real world circumstances, I don't think people are going to get it, and I don't think it's going to be what they hope it will be, in my humble opinion. So, you thought Columbus Day was just an excuse for a 3-day weekend. Well, groups of people in both San Francisco and Providence, Rhode Island, have vandalized statues of the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus to protest celebration of Columbus Day. Messages left by the vandals in San Francisco say, quote, "Destroy all monuments of genocide and kill all colonizers," end quote. Many have called for the holiday to be renamed to Indigenous Peoples Day, with San Francisco being one of the cities to have made the change already. As for Providence, the statue has been targeted before by vandals as recently as 2017. Their message was simple, quote, "Stop celebrating genocide," end quote. In response to the vandalisms, many of those in the Native American community say they know why people may want to destroy these statues, but they argue that the manner of expression here is not conducive to a positive message. Now, I think that certainly throughout history, America, we have celebrated people who were with some sketchy backgrounds. And in hindsight, we go, maybe we shouldn't have erected a statue in their honor. I love, Jimmy Kimmel had this great monologue a couple of days ago. He says, why are we celebrating an Italian? Why are we celebrating somebody like Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo? But no, we celebrate an Italian explorer who couldn't even find North America, first of all. He found the Bahamas. And secondly, the only thing he brought was the measles. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, so for us to say, you know, maybe that's a mistake, I think a positive step would be Indigenous Peoples Day. I think that would be a great first step.
The question is this appropriate? Is this an appropriate form of protest? It's not, okay? It really is not. But when has being appropriate made any change in life? You have to make change happen. And if this is what it takes to make change, go right ahead and do that. They're doing it in Latin America. They're doing it in South America. They're bringing down the statues of Spanish colonists, and they're bringing up statues of indigenous individuals who have made a change in the country. I think it's amazing to do so.
I think everything you're saying is a perfect point as to why this is an appropriate form. It's peaceful protest. No one's physically injured from this. And like you were kind of leading to, where it's if you want somebody to hear you, you need to do something. They're not going to listen to what you're saying. They're not going to listen to a letter that you're going to write to Congress. They're going to respond to what you're physically doing. And so if this is what it's going to take, like you said, to get some action done, by all means, cover it in whatever you need to. Throw a rock at it. I don't really care. But like there needs to be some sort of change happening. And I really think the most efficient way to do that is by this.
And now with social media, all those videos are up. I've seen plenty of videos. Yesterday I saw there were 10,000s of videos out there of these statues being brought down and people just celebrating that. I think it was amazing. On a different note, let's move on to Halloween, okay? Halloween is just around the corner and people are starting to purchase candy for the spirited young trick-or-treaters. But be careful, Pennsylvania police recently had a drug bust where they confiscated loads of drugs such as cocaine, crystal meth, and THC-laced nerd ropes. Hundreds of these edibles were found containing 400 milligrams of THC. A picture of K-9 Officer Thor was posted on Facebook sitting in front of 60 pounds of marijuana that he found the day prior to, which led them to the bust of the candy ropes and other drugs. Pennsylvania police posted another image of these look-alike candies on Facebook and urged parents to check their children's candy this upcoming Halloween.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is facing second groping charges as he pleads not guilty in state Supreme Court in Manhattan. The actor was previously charged with misconduct after pinching a woman's behind at a nightclub last year. He now has 12 other accusers coming forward with uncharged allegations, which prosecutors have submitted to the court to prove an evidence of misbehavior. Gooding Jr. was seen earlier this week entering the courtroom with handcuffs. His lawyer, Mark J. Heller, publicly defended his client, stating that his case is, quote, a distorted overreaction, end quote. If convicted upon both charges of forcible touching and third-degree sexual abuse, he could face up to a year in jail per charge. He is now being added to this, what seems very long list of celebrities or just public figures in general who are facing, the repercussions of being sexually not correct. No bueno. But he's kind of being compared, or the argument I would say in this, that a lot of people who are for him are saying, when you have the Harvey Weinsteins, when you have the Bill Cosbys of, the entertainment industry, who have done what seems far worse and far more damaging than what he has done, is really the repercussions, should they be the same? What do you guys think?
I just think it's wrong all across. I think this serves as an amazing case for an amazing platform to go ahead and voice that this is wrong. Do not invade our personal space. Do not invade women's space. I think that this is amazing that finally, it's not just one case. He's been caught in 15 cases, okay? Groping, biting their shoulders, touching them in places where he shouldn't have. I think he feels entitled and privileged as an artist and thinks that he can get away with this, and this is wrong. I'm glad that this is happening. At first, when I saw the case, I thought, oh no, I love him, right? I love him as an artist. 15 cases, this is wrong and it should not be allowed.
I think it's just sad, though, that it has taken so long for these to really be taken seriously. I mean, 2001, that was forever ago. You know, why is it taking so long for these people to come out, and why is it taking so long for them to be taken seriously?
Well, I mean, there's a pretty kind of obvious reason why it's taken so long for them to come out is because we have so many other examples of people who have come out saying, hey, I was sexually abused, I was raped, I, was just untreated, or I was treated like poorly, and they were kind of shut out. They're saying, this is not okay, you were drunk, it was what you were wearing. So that's kind of why it is. And so I think with now the times and kind of the climate of everything, this is the time where we're more accepting and we're more open to listening and actually understanding what they're saying versus being so quick to just
Right.
I don't know if you saw the Netflix show Unbelievable, but in it, they were sexually assaulted and no one believed her. So I'm just happy that, like you said, this is getting the light of day. Let's let the evidence decide what really happened, because we can jump to conclusions and blame the victim or blame the star. We don't know yet.
But to be honest with you, as a woman, that has happened to me plenty of times in the hospital, at a mall, anywhere. It doesn't matter where. So I'm very glad that finally there's change.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, hooray. This is long overdue to get the light of day. I get it. But I think we need to, because we're just seeing it all from a distance. We don't know what's going on. But I tend to agree with you that I'll give the sort of the benefit of the doubt to women because they have been kind of dissed for so long.
I think that we just need to see where this case goes, give it some time, and then
Agreed.
I think we'll get a lot more information.
I'm sorry, but benefit of the doubt, 15 cases?
Hold on.
Of the
I'm glad you
doubt?
said that.
I'm sorry.
I know, I see you, but a benefit of the doubt because, as their lawyer pointed out, people can come out of the woodwork. And they can falsely accuse someone. That can happen too.
But no, there's 15 cases. There's 15 cases. Let's move on.
This is a lot.
Let's move on.
We need to move
will
on to
talk
some.
about
We
it
need,
more.
we need a
Go
little
on.
bit
Let's go
of. We need a more lighthearted
Bree, what else do
topic
we
here.
have?
So
Yes,
let's
Bree,
get
take
into
it
some
away.
entertainment, guys. All right, guys. It is time to divert power to Chess RT. We all know him as the genius billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, Iron Man. But now Robert Downey Jr. stars as the famed doctor in Universal Studios' Doolittle. The first trailer, which dropped earlier this week, features Downey Jr. in his first big project since Avengers Endgame. Talking to animals, that is. The zoo is voiced by a star-studded cast, including Rami Malek, Tom Holland, and Selena Gomez. Doolittle is set to release on January 17th, 2020. Take a glimpse of the trailer right here.
You can talk to animals.
Babies cry. Watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I
It's okay to be scared.
know. And I think to myself,
Hello, Barry. Hello, lunch.
what a wonderful world.
Somehow, we just belong together.
Yes, I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world.
Have you ever thought that your backpack was just a fashion accessory? Well, think again. Kelly Belknap, creator of Adventurous Backpack Company, is on a mission to end food insecurity, especially for college students. For every backpack he and his wife sell in Raleigh, North Carolina, he donates profits for up to 25 meals, helping college students get the nourishment they need. For more on this inspiring story, we turn to reporter Gerald Owens.
At this NC State store, backing the pack has always been big. So are backpacks.
I noticed that people used a backpack almost more as a fashion accessory to make their outfits look better, not worse.
When Kelly Belknap and his wife started Adventurous Backpack Company in Colorado, they shared a common goal.
We wanted to do some social good with our company, not just create a great product, but we also wanted to give back in some way.
Belknap learned about research that found 1 out of 5 students face food insecurity. That's why they decided to donate the cost of 25 meals for every backpack sold. They partner with the nonprofit group Feeding America. to help college students and families in the Raleigh area. A social conscience attracts students like Alice Toms.
I'm in support of all businesses that have that kind of aspect to it, so I really like the humanities side. I would support that.
Many students know classmates who struggle.
Who do work like side jobs as well as going to school so they can like have food security.
If you're going hungry, you really aren't reaching that full potential that you could if you were, not struggling with food insecurity.
Belknap's efforts add to some programs already in place at NC State, like a campus food pantry and student donations.
Every semester we have at least 1,000 meals donated from our students that we can use to help other students in need.
Meeting their needs so they can succeed. Gerald Owens, WRAL News.
And with that, that is all the time we have today on The Report. Have a great week, everyone, and stay tuned for more news, views, and information. I'm Gabriella Martinez.
I'm Ryan Matthey.
I'm Jefferson Denham.
And I'm Bree Eastlick. Stay fresh, Fullerton.